Good afternoon, class. Sorry for the late submission. Um, I have, I know I'm a little late on this assignment, but I thought I would still do it just so that I could do the response and so that my other classmate could also do the response. Um, so, chapter 6 through 8. So, these chapters, there's a lot that I could relate to or that I have already learned before, especially chapter 6 that talks about um, positive and negative reinforcement, feedback, and stuff like that. So all of those, especially feedback, actually, this past week, in one of Dr. Jackson's class, she's an education teacher, um, and we're on the last final stage before we go into our clinical teaching. So Dr. Jackson had someone do a presentation on feedback and different ways that a teacher can administer feedback. And I think one thing that the book highlights very well is verbal feedback, but also the other types of feedback are very important. So verbal praise, which talks about the book, which the book talks about, and also facial expressions. I mean, sometimes when you give how many times hasn't a teacher given us some really bad facial expressions when we didn't do something right, and you know that obviously you didn't do something right. So some facial expressions are something that I personally feel like I need to work on. I feel like sometimes the verbal praise and the verbal feedback of, hey, do this right or do this different, I feel like personally I sometimes can do that pretty well, but sometimes I guess the eye contact and the facial expressions is something that I think comes with experience, because I've seen I've seen teachers do that very well, and professors do that very well, and coaches do that very well, and it's something that you don't develop from one day to another, and so I think that's also very important. Also, I thought chapter 7 was very important, talking about how a group becomes a team, and I think that's very important, especially in an athletics classroom, which I plan to be on. I plan to be coaching athletics. I think it's important to realize how important it is for you not just to be a group, but a team and a family as well. And that eventually will lead to success. It eventually leads to success for your team, whether you're coaching it or whether you're part of the team. I think that's extremely important. So I'm really liking a lot of these chapters, because it's really it really relates to what I'm teaching or what I'm doing outside of the classroom when I go do my clinical teaching at a high school. So I really like that it's being able to to connect to what I'm doing outside of the classroom, and not just me reading off of a book, and it's not just me reading off of a book and then coming back here and taking quizzes and tests. I'm glad that it's actually something I can see in a classroom, and something I can apply, like positive reinforcement, feedback, and all of that stuff. So that's I think it's a good thing that I'm able to do that. And chapter 8, I think also cohesion. The chapter 8 is named group cohesion. So I think chapter 7 and 8 go really well together, and it's good that they were spaced the way they were, one chapter after the other. Because it's cohesion is it's part of working together, and it's just how the book describes it, the attractiveness of the group, and interacting with each other, and I like that it uses words like interpersonal interactions, which are also really good vocabulary to have. So I've learned a lot from chapters 6 through 8, and I look forward to going and reviewing the other chapters. Thank you.